You're listening to the Daily Sales Tips podcast, and I'm your host, Scott Ingram. Today's tip comes from Melinda Van Fleet. Melinda is a confidence and peak performance coach, best-selling author, speaker, and podcast host who helps business women who struggle with confidence to believe in themselves and take action so they can get results. Here she is.
How do you feel about the word hustle? Would you say that you are someone who hustles and works longer than an 80-hour work week? Or do you kick back a bit and operate as what's often referred to as flow or allow? One of the first social media business influencers that I used to follow was Grant Cardone. I stumbled upon his book, 10X, at the airport way back when. I bought the CDs, before I discovered Audible, and dove in. He had me at, quote, "Anyone who suggests to me to do less is either not a good friend or very confused," end quote. I remember laughing out loud as if Grant and I were having a conversation, and I was like, yep, Grant, I totally get it. It resonated with me as that is how I have always felt. Why? Because I've always been someone who hustled and loved it. But I dealt with judgment from others, and I didn't understand why. I have to admit, as I've transitioned from being a full-time independent sales rep to a confidence and peak performance coach, I have changed it up a bit. I still work 7 days a week, but I balance my time a bit more. It's more of an on and off process. Granted, no pun intended, a lot of my vibe has shifted, and I don't have certain things on my plate that have to get done by a particular time. However, when I reflect on those past timelines, I chose to work like that, and most other sales reps I knew didn't have the same commitment. Life feels better for me now, but it's something I had to come to terms with on my own and not listen to another coach or expert tell me what I should or shouldn't be doing. To take this a step further, many personality assessments, such as human design, will share results that are eye-opening and help you gain clarity around how you best work versus following someone else's pattern that may or may not be best for you. Remember, we are all different. My hustle reckoning reared its head again this past week when I listened to someone's podcast. You know, when you listen intentionally to an episode and then the following episode starts to play and you let it play? That's what happened. The next episode was an interview with a gentleman who was an extreme hustler. His message was pretty hardcore, and likely even Grant would have winced. It gave me a bad vibe, and I started to feel empathy for anyone on his team or a client who isn't on that same hustle wave. And then my mind started to wander as to how his heart rate and blood pressure was, along with any personal relationships. But that's when I stopped. Because here's the thing. He was probably fine. He likely loves his hustle nature and was cool with it, just like I am and was with my workflow. And that's the thing. Be good with where you are in your work-life balance. If you like to hustle hard, do that. If you don't. The most important thing about your workflow is your energy and how you feel. Your energy is what makes you successful. If you're working super hard and it's coming off as stress, it's likely your clients aren't going to want to be part of that. Don't kid yourself. People can feel that, and it comes off as desperation, and it will likely not help your business. Versus if you feel good and your energy comes across as such, your client relationships will flourish as people will enjoy working with you. So if you are in that place of not really knowing how you feel or rethinking your work and life balance, take some time to consider how you feel and see if you need to make a change one way or another. Evaluate. And if you need to make a change, do it. If you don't, keep on doing what you're doing and don't worry about the other person's judgment because it's not their business. Here's to being in alignment in your best work life and future growth.
For links to connect with Melinda, her free Believe and Take Action daily guide, and her latest book on Amazon, just click over to DailySales.Tips/874. Once you've done that, be sure to come back tomorrow for another great sales tip. Thanks for listening.